Saturday. How are all of you doing? Bon dia, bon dia. Mita espero ko po dati yung bong simang, whatever that means for you, katuta productive or chill or, you know, whatever ito tami, tapos pero ito bong simang. Iko ba kumisa po weekend bong tami, of course. Minam sa Carolina, imita a host di Sincerely Carolina, where I get to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Pero ko emeta, obviamente, pa educar, motivar, inspirar pa nos hasi, miho, eigenlijk, de nos comunidad. Sei tabing na jele. Mi quero avisar que a não sabe para pedir tópico que porta um tique fuerte para algum oyente, então me quero fazer trigger warning local kante mele disclaimer que nós lo papia tocante prevenção de suicidio, pero obviamente se lo bingo nele tópico nan di suicidio, algum cifra nan Kiko Pahasi, hopefully it's a very educational episode, pero nonetheless it's aqui por um tópico fuerte para alguma persona. So, you know, viewer and listeners, discretion advised. Também me quero avisar que se para qualquer motivo você pode escutar o episode aqui, você pode ter auto e babaha for the auto. Do not worry, nós está live riba YouTube e Facebook de Cool FM e YouTube de Sincerely Carolina. Você ampar por haya episode aqui back e para chamar se está aqui available riba both favorite podcast platforms. Me sempre te avisa que está available riba Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But I have come to the realization, un par de días pasado, junto con mi intern Dulce, who's in the house. Hi, Dulce. Most episodes are actually uploaded to most podcast platforms. So see, for whatever reason, but who do stuff like Google Podcast, it's on there too. I didn't know that. Makes sense though. See, similar lisa to the emails na kumita haya di platform kumita usap pa upload. But anyways, doesn't matter. Point is, they are everywhere. So they are accessible. Tapos me just quero avisar vai ser awe. Também me quero avisar que nós tem informational page também back online antes de Sincerely Carolina. Me quero imitar compartilhar hobby mais in-depth information like studies. E me tá fazendo isso aqui menos sobre, you know, Instagram, onde a gente assim tem aquele just work for threads of funny content. So eu decidi que it was time para abrir social media onde eu posso compartilhar mais informação in-depth, pero eu não necessariamente tinha tempo para hinka sa akin outro, pero manima mention algo semana passada. Sincerely Carolina hay un intern and we are working on social media content until hasi kosang mas accessible and fun. So we did just that. So I just wanted to let you know, head on over on Instagram at Zenith Talks until nos compartir cosas más in depth. Sincerely Carolina is still there, so you can still follow me if you want to see the more funny and quirky stuff. So yes, without further ado, we don't see un guest con nota novo na Sincerely Carolina, and we love talking to her, so she's here again today. Papapedi un tópico importante. So, we don't see Dr. Audrey Kan in the house. Kuta un clinical psychologist. Prima lagi reintroduci su mes, persona ko for some reason I don't know Audrey. Eri e por yes, introduce herself. So yes, Audrey, hi.
Hi, thank you for the invitation. Atrobe, sempre would enjoy have this conversation.
Tiki más cerca, Audrey, no te escuchaba. Yes.
Okay, ito na di banda. Well, bon dia to henne. Mi nombre es Dr. Audrey Kan. Mi un clinical psychologist. Mainly estudiando in America. Mi ting mi private practice na Aruba aya awo. Aruba Clinical Services. So yeah, I'm here to provide some information on suicide prevention.
Did you switch the mic?
I don't know.
I mean, it's been working, but it has like an echo. Okay. Hello. I think now you are on.
Yes?
Sí, okay.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so the introduction to the live is just that I think a little feedback that I don't like.
Okay, no problem.
Oh wait, but we need to turn on your cam, of course. Hello, Carolina. We don't see Audrey, now we get to see Audrey.
Di na amay na say at all.
I know. Mitahaya sinaluk mo sobra no to biyahe ko to bin Sister Carolina, but every time with mani Carolina mani key questions and mani what are we gonna talk about? But I love it because you come prepared. You mani
Same, me din me notes na kinana.
See. So I'm just gonna be say ko there's time that goes into these conversations.
Sí,
Di parte
claro,
di guests, di parte, from the production side tambe. There's some research that goes into it, planning tambe pa topics that make sense. And so, yeah. So, September ta Suicide Prevention Month.
Yes.
Hindi ating many days and months for everything.
Sí.
Which is a great thing in my opinion. So at least un momento ko collectively no sa para quieto riba topiko nang importante, right?
And have that conversation.
Yes. So ora nos papia di suicide prevention, mi te quiero kuita algo hopi Portata sono mani hopi nice. Anto basta no sa wak mani hina ta mention suicide prevention, anto mani today is suicide prevention day. Pero suicide prevention day ta domingo ka pasa.
Sí.
Anto no está in the month, right? So maybe we see a lot of stuff on social media, pero what does it really mean? Si portavo por give some context into kiko ese ta encerrar por encerrar. So it's a very broad at the end of the day, right?
Sí, mita quiere también con suicide ta algo que gente ta avoid have a conversation about. The September ta luna unda yata temporada de share information, ask questions if you have them, anto ku eta kind of in your face, ku bono pa run away from it. Pero también mita siguro ko ting hopi hene ko nang mesta going through things anto pabopawak information ina pabopawak hey minota mi so to give some sense of hope. I tambe henanan ko dealing ko henanan ko struggling with suicidal thoughts. Das ko nang tambe ting some kind of assistance, guidelines, what can I do to help? How can I help them? Where can I take them? What are the possibilities? Anto tambe pa sa more importantly, okay, kung ipatrego rin hene kikot warning signs ki ora kosta birando piyo off no ki ora patreke bell off no das ture kos ne hopi importante pa share. Yes. Especially, I mean, all year round, every day, pero September that month, anto verwacht October ta Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So bidahan say, pasabating at least un periodo di at least man 2 luna, un topico nanta un tiki mas out there than they are, in the rest of the year. Pero maneba mention na in the circles the mental health topico na agita importante throughout the whole year.
Yes.
Basta toevallig met dat ook een show riba Netflix so there are these things who for some reason pami and tot tiki mas impactful in like how you make decisions, behavior. Me echt dat toen ik commercials that trigger me buy stuff or has a behavioral change or whatever. But things lang good well researched and well thought too. Anto, it's not related necessarily to mental health directly, pero it's about people that live to 100, and I have been telling like so many people about this.
What would you say after Agasina?
No, it's living to 100 blue zones, something like that. Anto, it's basically maniera ko by research, una mundo, many groups of people, many full communities nam to live longer. And it was like kiko to play a role, and of course it has to do with like eating and movement and stuff like that. Pero ang very important thing ko tata idea ng dus ko comforting all these communities all the way from like Greece, Italy to Costa Rica, Japan. So hopi diverse tata sense of purpose and community.
Community to base.
Yes. Anto handy, no? Mita quiero sa do mundo assim na druk hoje em dia. Nós bezig. Anto mane trabalho ta one of the most important things was ko nossa value ding mundo di hoje em dia. I many goals nang kunos achieve, pero hobi biya goals nang related to like materialism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I community ta cayendo atrás. I nos estaba aqui com many mas gente vivendo riba na mes, loneliness to becoming un
big thing.
Yeah. So me te quiere ko it has also become harder por dapat support for people because people are so far away but in touch ko hene regularly through memes on social media, chatting, etc. Pero if ako manibating varios na to be caso ko pa generally realize yung hene su habits na cambia. Basta na trabaho to hene para focus yung mga job. So bitsin din nos tiki mas distant the others.
Sí, me ta quiere también hacer para viva de mesmo caso.
Oh yes.
Bo hene po act so well that everything is going so well. Anto one stand para trás na mesma kamer, para trás da porta inana, ito full outra persona. Dus het echt de very little things. Ora bota in a small community, ko bota by notice the changes. Pero yeah, mita quiere también generationally, ela cambia. Mita quiere a generation above us. Ta hopi mas about work. Money, save up. E nos generation awota tiki more into okay na meeting ko priorities na mi mes tambe trabaho na to turcos mi tambe ko bosa pensar pa mi família e mi mes mental health pero si sense of community one of the biggest warning signs tambe si un gente sinti na mes nang so I mean how much more proof do you need pa quiere el pensamiento inanang kutabo so laterlijk. O sea, and more kubota kuhende to reach out, sa cabo fecas, bota haciendo cosas nang mas bota ba kumisa bringa etot ay.
Anto atrobe no, ting mani pros and cons to like everything, pero mani ba mention na ano sa diong generasyon ku technology, social media, etc. Eta nos, e generasyon pro meio ko nos awak mani e positive impact I guess ko turiko sang kita ting ding mani ng work and stuff, right? Making stuff more efficient. Pero tatating un huge shift undo ko mito contento si pa ako although no sa ding mundo di mani basta hyper technology kuno sa I realize ko there's still value in like human connection, no? Say por go south no kun mani no sa there's no value in that anymore. Pero portanto sa crece onda ko manibonota sinta na mesa ko otro like everybody just eats like watching TV or something like that. Ami toto assim, no?
Ami no.
No, cero toto más.
No más, pero esta también es costumbre. Lunch, después school, turhena de comer juntos.
That is so nice.
Turhena de comer juntos.
Okay. Sí. Me digo bisa ko growing up, thing when my friends group, both my parents on top work, so when I even see that I was coming for school, obviously, I mean, I didn't live at school, but me da casa, and you know, if they have meetings or stuff like that, then they just left. Anto, I think many rituals see in the sense many weekends, was able to spend time together and stuff. But I would there's many bigger push, toch? Even though we not crazy kasi, but bisa no manita importante pa kon heliven basta sinta breakfast junto, sinta mani dinner junto.
Yes. At least one of the 3 meals.
Yes. Y ese momento nang onda ko maybe it might be the only moment where you could notice a sign in a person, right? Ku algo portando tabayendo.
Sí, imita quiere ture moments na junto, taduna e mucha nang mas poder de por papi ko ng ouders. Dus essa cita verschil grande kung mitawak dinge mucho nang kutabing ku pensamento ne ku nanga durf de bis ng ouders paso nang ting connection inanang.
Yes.
Tamane ang hi bye eta no mi mama ta kumi mi ta confiele mi pobisele anto un dia ma decidi todo suficiente e me quero vai papi com gente soma papi com mami e me dá esse hope importante pois um gente ku nota sinti e vasta band ku nang mama of nang tata nota by durf di by bisa algacina dus naar rebelo wa ku nanta by sa kanang rumang anto uneta si itong enig kind rita birun hope mas difícil.
Yes. So even si pensa man yung friend of algacina, hobi biya din mo peers ng bono ker ta single tao tampoco. So unless it's a active conversation ko porta other peers on the biya sa man amita ba psikolog etc. It not by come up easily.
No. And no one starts a conversation with, hey, any suicidal thoughts recently? What's up?
Of course, I know.
People
it sounds silly, but
pero ting hopi friends ko na nota durf bisa otro so amin no kerte sun ko tapone un extra burden riba bo siya aboting dias ko riba bo plate
or like kill the mood, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so nos haya some interesting questions lang riba social media. A lot of the questions that come up near to kind of like the same thing, right? People want to know how to recognize basta un persona ko ta suicidal vooral si eta maybe at the brink of actually becoming actively suicidal sobra por nós possível say tambe see there's a difference between being like you know passive or active.
Sa ese anto that is the first conversation I have with people kutabing sa kami during the intake.
Okay.
Mita explica a confidentiality part, pero tama verschil entre kikong active suicidal thought e un passive. Desse active thought, tagubutin ko pensa, okay, miti un plan. Mita vai hasi tal cosa, tal dia, tal manera, boting bo plan. Essa é bo active thought. E nang ta ora, okay, ami at this point no puyudabo, nos tinko bay trakebel, nos bayama buhaysarts, nos bayama psychiater on call, of nos tinko hayong manera pa buhaya extra, more intensive care right now. Passive suicidal thoughts, who research has shown almost everyone experiences them at some point, ora nanta ding distress, tamas di a fantasy. The, hey, kiko sa minolanta mayang minolo mind of kiko ta mi point di tana bida mino kierte. Those are very momentary thoughts that we have. Nanta bay ibing, nampor bay ibing, of nanta bing ibay, nanta bing back. Eta depende de persona to kung nanta cope ko say, pero there's a difference. We can have a conversation about that. Okay, kiko ta pasando? Kiko e pensamiento data? Ki ora la pasa? Mane, where were you trying to disconnect, or what were you trying to disconnect from? Does it say that more of a conversation-based thought kunos pa bay deeper in? And not hasi any less severe kung active thought, pero they're very different. Very, very different.
Especially for response, right?
Sí.
Response from the professionals. Is ora ko si mi wake questions ang kuno sa haya, mi takiri no sa haya. A mix of these, right? At tingin na nang kausa specific words when acute of kung manananta right at the moment of versus ko portaong hinata going there. So ba-mention na diferente punto nang from a professional standpoint, pero kiko porta signs ko even si portaong hende nota saying ko portaong hende porting like passive thoughts of suicide, and maybe it's a good time to go speak to someone.
Well, hopi biyahe not by being the persona males unless not getting pushed to seek out help. Unfortunately a stigma could attach to suicidal thoughts e seeking out mental health na aruba.
Okay.
Still. Pero ora tayaga na any yes, kos na kubo por wak e cambio na yung hende no sa pensa diba feelings, thoughts, physical changes, spiritual changes e behavioral changes. So nos como professional mita wak, okay, kiko diba risk factors na, kiko diba protective factors na. E risk factors ore iyaga na algo spiritual ta hende ko sempre tao da by misa, very religious, anto di repente ng tamaneya no ting Dios, no ting point in my misa mas. Say pano sa one of the biggest red flags, because say to sign ko ba the giving up. Hopi hende sa puntrami, well, kiko sinang nang diripiente ta religioso. No, ese no se va como un protective factor, paso nang apone tu nang energía ding algo. Tas nang purbando di quiere ding algo para posigi. Ese sete verskel o no se va spirituality, religiousness. Physical changes, yung hene diripiente ta bajo hopi peso, si nanta subi hopi peso lihe, si diripiente ting hopi physical complaints, ay mi not sinti mi bong, mi to sinti mi zwak, mi corazon ta bati lihe, of not omgekeerd, mi pressong. Dus is a lot of physical signs ko te showing ko is stress ta going out of hand. Kuna no po controla or regulate themselves anymore. Henne ko ta spanta hopi lihe, tapos nanta zoning out of nanti history of trauma. Sa tama ta red flag. Fatigue, constantly kansa, exhausted. Isa itong henne ko ta kind of noting a power mas di mane lucha. Behavioral changes henne ko ta avoiding. But ta avoiding with friends, but avoiding with colleagues at work, but avoiding trabaho, but avoiding eye contact. Isa ita a shame ko hopi henne ta experience when they're having suicidal thoughts. Inattention to self-care. Isa ita atrobe very, very important to ito algo ko nos na notice. Manayong hene ko sempre to put together, tabisti dress, kabay hasi, diripiente, batawa kita not a penga kabay, not a pone makeup mas. I mean, these are all signs tambe of depression. Esa kita leading up to signs ko po wak din yung hende. So orong hende ta more acute. A likelihood ko po ta by notice it. It's already a little too late for that. Crying. So yung hende ta crying a lot. Tapapiano the feeling of guilt. Tama itong signs. Yung hende ta starting to give away their things. Musa? Esay tama itong sign man, okay, they're
letting go.
They're letting go, pero tama ko nanta making things easier for when they're away pa hende no mester deal ko
okay, got it.
Their extra burden. Otra cosa importante ta si di repente botawa kong hende ko ta the somber of down, all of a sudden ta relieved, ta upbeat. Botawa ke very swift change na nang esay tama itong red flag, so esay kemen ko okay, portanan tinang plan ina ta finally feel rustic about okay, dolo ta bay kaba mi plan esakita kiko ta bay pasa, let me just flow through the next few days or months or whatever. Pero esay tama itong red flag to look out for. Mita kere ting hopi otra cosa nang kuta correlate ko depression or major depressive disorder. Hende ko ta lubida hopi kos tambe ta red flag. Paso nanta as sina druk beza ko nang mesong thoughts nang ko, hey, I can't focus on my job right now, I can't do this task, what nanta nang work performance ta dropping, nang absentee ta rate ta subi, das nang nanta bigyan na trabaho mesong hopi, nanta das say nanta ekos na ko po wak mas lihe, de cambio nang di yung persona.
Anto, Audrey, si mi escucha, it takes a community na final dia, no? Paso portehin na nang nakas, por exemplo, portehin na na trabaho tambi, portehin na nang ding mani un social group, portehin na nang ding mani un foundation ko bosa, portehin na ta volunteer na jele. Kuta notice these type of changes
everywhere, yes.
Anto mita kere ding nos kultura, si tendencia ko mani si a persona nota ding bo immediate family, or mita bis immediate family mi aker men mani parents
Rumang,
rumang ikasanang no si tendencia ko bonota mete, right?
Si
anto ese propone ko porta botar notice e porta ding bo means bota pensa oh my gosh estranho ko mane pasa mane bota bisa no sempre que tá bem mane atividade nang sa natures
si de repente na que vai mas na que join
afeta bem ante tá mane zero full rato eta mostra anversort pero ja porta tá passando dori algo anto it just kind of stays there, right? Me te quero portar nos underestimate capabilities ku communities tin pa ayuda prevent pa un persona die of suicide, right? How could you like recommend people si hindi tips or how do people even go to maybe having these conversations kung natapiensa tamani it's not my place to have, but also I'm a little concerned.
Well, ito difícil paso no que go up right away mane hey, bosa man notice Saki but suicidal. It's more like, bosa lately mita mirando ko bonota mesong happy ko antes of bota struggling unti ko trabaho of ko bonota joining mesong hobby ting algo pasando ting algo ko buke papi over and mostly milo suggest open-ended questions to a person. There's no see of na but buscando mas information dinang. It's hard kasi ito depende tame di una bota bing kumong friend, kumong kolega, so kumong kolega mo overstep boundaries. Kutabay pone abo din problema después. Pero sempre po approach yung hena na trabaho, mane turkos ta okay, mane busa kiko lately bota ba yando dor DJ of kiko bota looking forward to ese sempre ta un question kumita puntra mane okay, well dinge next 3 luna nang. Kiko te planes nang, kiko the most looking forward to. Anto yun bata wak, okay, how far are they thinking along? Siyanto na, minosayo. Bata na, okay, lagami sige punto un tiki mas. Kibasi ayera, boting, bosa, kiko bata haciendo, voral ku sali fecas. Esa ita the important thing. So, ora, un hende bin ku suicidal ideations, nós tá work de biyahe riba behavior activation plan. Paso botin ko sa alifikas, bo mester move, bo mester do things with other people. You have to talk, you have to go to therapy. Remedy si bo mester, bosa those are all the little things that you need to start doing for yourself, pero otra gente también po help po on the way. Si bota friend, consistency is key. Pues un gente sina una vez vos stop diya mami, pues antawari mas. Ero bota by back thing and dip. Si esaita un cosmito bisa gente. Ora bo kiar yuda, make sure ku bota uno, bo mes por yuda, y bo mes por by handle say. Y dos, ku bota by por ta consistent din bo support. Pues bo no porta support pa un simang y después bota drop a persona. It's about consistency in talking, consistency in checking up, consistency in just being a listening ear, consistency ding no do na bomesang opinion. So, ami about in differente ways of thinking and opinion. So, ami no tabay bisabo, well, bosa, esaki atrapami, bay purbe esaki. Y sinang bay purbe, yan no tatraha, but ay ponen ang sinti mas pio. So, wak, otra cosa, ami no po hasi ko ese hasi y logra. Sinti miho kune. This when talking to someone, listen. That is the most important part. Just listen to what they have to say. Don't be judgmental. Y aceita cara to give that away. Hasta si no abisan yung palabra, cara to give it away. Just try and be as neutral as possible. Y no bula y kuminsa doon ang gente tanto opsyong di kos na ko napahas pa yuda ng mes. Help them figure out kiko taba ayuda nang. Das, okay, antes or batat sinti down, kiko ayudabo. Okay, bang puro hasi asay. Nos pa hasi say, bagay tumong kurso, just pa hasi algo diferente, nos pa bay junto. I mean, enoto kumita bisando un gente meste tuma full responsabilidad. Ita just ko persona po sinti safe man, okay, mi submitting my person that I can go to. But that person needs to be sure that they can handle it. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. Tambe.
Anto, that also requires like some honesty, right?
100%.
Y also mi quero bisa tambe de me soroseia si no momento bota even si tong hen hope close to you pero abo me sa to sinti ko por handle algo assim na I just want to tell you kumani you should not feel guilty about that either.
No.
Ita hope mas importante pa bota honest kubo no por handle anto ko bota go into something kuna final dia portata baita harmful to both of you.
Yes.
You know, so that's also important ko ta okay pa no sa kiko pahasi of no sinti isa kubo no ta persona porta adequada pa provide that help pero
referral.
Yeah, exactly. And the same karabisa ko basta porta po echt no sa kiko pahasi of kiko pa bisa hande, but if you have a piece of information of like, you know, basta me I hear you, mi baskucho ko man this is hard on you, I mean no ta kira mi the right person or the equipped person to help you with this, pero portami po yuda po trajo ng appointment with somebody who can.
Yes.
You know, and teri ta sinti porta ko ba man drop a person completely, ko bota ta man completely man unhelpful.
See,
But,
I think other ways of being helpful. Tamane, okay, mita being tresebo mane dinner pa 2 días.
Okay.
Basta you're being helpful in some way. But physically there, but emotionally there, but just no porta there in those conversations. So there's many different ways of being there for someone.
And I guess being honest with yourself and the person about, you know, who you can be in that process.
Sí. Cuando vianan tabi sa nos oro nos subi avión, okay, pone el mask primero y babo mes y después
Bota you de otro.
bota you de otro. So you need to put yourself first. So si abo no por ibubay purba, bota hibabo mesa pa e ore enota ayudan yung di boso dos.
No, mi te quiere se tota algo hobi importante pa mention. Okay, so si basta ang hena establish all of these things anto portananta trying to be helpful to the best of their abilities, pero nanta sinti ko mani maybe it's not like being helpful or whatever, y nata pensa ko e persona ta nung punto di echt take the next step. For example, kiko ta porta signs ko na po look out to ko basta whatever
Mas cute.
yes ko mani this is like I need to take you somewhere now type of situation, or I should call somebody now type of situation.
Well, esa ora, boting ko ask the hard questions. Hey, boting pensado em mata pomens? Boting plan? Misasa ita zona very, straight to the point, but at that point, you need to know, hey, how bad is this right now? Kiko ami tingo hasi awo pa yudabo. Isalba bubida basically. So that is the first question. Okay, kiko de la sabia botao that in active suicidal thoughts. Okay, awe, kiko nanta. Boting plan. Iorong hene samper se bisa si miti plan di biyaha boting ko yama. Huisarts. Kulo yama anka psychiater of bota yama eerste hulp te biaha, bopo yama police. Depende quién te contesta.
Sí, I know.
Mi no que me embajare, pero it's true.
Sí, pasobra mita wish ko nos para being awe i para provide un clear cut information onda ko
what is the path and there is none, unfortunately.
Exactly, no tinha un clear path.
No.
Dentro no sistema e mita quiere é importante para honestly say that e maneira para mencionar different steps para me seguro the moment com renda escuta mane jambo huisarts a lot of people cite probably or agora kita mane right basta e Eta un step no turhina na experience na huisarts na meskos ting hena juist por ta sitting wanneer huisarts kon aan te zien
hopi mal experience com escucha. So
yes,
again,
so I mean, know your situation too. Anto sei por ta tamita importante passar de persona, right? King so huisarts even ta mane por ta when you're talking to people putra hende mane como relação com huisarts ta mane por ta sim algo mane super like trivial or whatever, pero huisarts is supposed to hende hope importante ding overall health y well-being.
The most important person.
Ideally,
Ete sun ku bota communicating with, ku kiko ta pasando, anto bota confiando wholeheartedly.
Kuturkos, yes.
Ku eta bay yudabo y verwijs mo na hene nang correcto.
So ask people about that. Bita querer ko eselo por tong hopi bom caminho. So se persona tem bom comunicação com seu huisarts, por tá tem sus putline gesit.
Ninguém sei que gosta de la sardia, babay.
Also.
Seka bo.
Por tá bom huisarts não conhece bom mens.
Ting hopi hene me perguntar quem tá bom huisarts. I have to know that.
Yeah.
Mi nosa. Lagay me check me app. Okay, kita de la sardia, babay. Holo, mi nosa 3 anos, 4 anos.
Wow.
Okay. We have to rebuild that relationship. Asa siya tapong check-up. Masapa, so, si bota llega se kami, kuta esa tuma no sab hopi grande den su mes kapa. I bonaba es kaba huisarts en tanto ayan, we have to fix that relationship. E mita hopi happy ko meeting varios huisarts ko meeting bong relasyon ko nang. Kung nos porta very open in communication, manda message, llama, anto nos porta on the same line with the clients that we share.
Y mita quiere ko oh my gosh, mita quiere ko hende nang tas still na importancia de esse.
Sí, no.
Basta so if anything awe mita quiere sa un bong like easy and quick thing to do, check in with your people.
Yes.
Po pareja, po best friend. Po tarang kina huisarts tanto, hey, como experience ko ba huisarts ta? I mean, experience in a sense ko, do you have a relationship with that person? Do you visit them ever? Often?
Sí.
But the ko that is a place to go if you ever have a situation in need. And to para persona at all not showing any signs of anything, but I think just knowing that life saving.
Okay. So if you have that communication ko ba huisarts, bolota mas komodo ba yendo.
Exactly.
Itame bosa ko that conversation is also confidential. Right? Bo por papi de anything. Anto quizás momentos no está pensando, okay, meeting by papi con gente, huisarts pa sabe, okay, maybe you should try talking to someone or doing something.
Anto, sí. Okay. So that is a good step, I think.
Yes.
Something that we can tell people to actually do.
Sí. Y un otro tip ta ora bota papiando con gente que bota quiere, que está struggling. So we tend to do this. It's ingrained in us. Kumbay, bong. Don't stop there. Ask again. bota siguro. Tukosta bong? Mane, bota giving a little bit more pressure. Mane, oh, okay, they caught me. So let me open up.
I tama ta honest about yourself. Because ko hina to feel more comfortable talking to people. Ko ta also honest. So that can be parents but couples as well. I mean, si tating algo ko molestiabo na trabaho, algo ko molestiabo ting maneba social group, algo ko molestiabo basa, I don't know, yung store or whatever. Being honest about that, mane, babay supermarket, bahay turko ko to ser sino ya tatabong. But maybe somebody in the supermarket abisabo algo ka trigger bo or something. Talk about it. Anto yuri say por doon otro hene tama un gevoel. Amit sinti say.
Kiko about triggers, mane.
Yeah. Yes. Ko mane, okay, this is a safe space pa me. Mane, I'm allowed to like not like a situation or be upset about the situation or be annoyed about the situation.
Especially mane bo pareha. Right? Bo pareha takubo. Most of the time, basta si errands together, and the more they know kiko ta trigger bo, the more nang po yudabo de momento eh. Pero kung bo friends ang tambe, mane, di un amazing support system. So, anosta have those conversations. Mane, hey, kung bo mental health ta, kung basta kiko mi po hasi pa bo, think anything you want to talk about, and we can do that. Even though nos tuta verspray to kaminda, pero basta talk a little check-ins at least once a week. Just, okay, see, din sa kisakya pasa, pero mahasi asagi, ma-get over it. Basta, kubuting very small, if it's just one person, that's more than enough. Just pa po, kind of let it out.
Exactly. I'm big on that too. When I check in with friends, even ita just when lunch, mit yung friend ko mit by lunch sa kajele hopi, anto ti ora dos when papi di nada, hindi nada mi kami man home whatever, kibasi mabe shop or whatever. Eating ora ta man it's a rant moment, vice versa. Anto just allowing that space ko man he even man on charge whatever was going on. There's so much value in that, and having those people around you manebo tabisa. Abin dia basta portan no stopi drug porta bono po buy lunch weekly to somebody or at somebody's space, pero abaporting weekly check-ins on like WhatsApp for example, like social media chats or stuff like that. So make use of that, right?
Tame just if physicalness. Right? Das timbiaha bota bay sa ka otro ng kas, but timplanzi, basta have a conversation, but just sin ba ni otro silence. That's also nice. Very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Just sintando ba yung hand just basta physically I know I'm safe right now. And no just sinta just no papia. That's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Like 100%. Okay, so I think that hopefully I say that duna parihan yung feeling di mani okay, there is something I can do and this is how I could do it, right? Say nostro kiar pasari for yasaki tambe. Nostro papi yung tiki kaba di mani a pathway na Aruba because people did ask about that.
Sí.
Mitikere nostro topi dadag din sounds ko ideal di bahar sa stavo go to place. But in case it is not, Audrey, what would be like the next step, right? Manibambisa bono ting contact ko ng manibono bono tabay ng ever bono sa kwata right way pa mani contact ng the fastest. Where do you go next?
Well, before anything, mitakere bo create un sort of personal safety plan.
Okay.
Das iseta insera, okay, kiko ta mi triggers nang, kiko ta mi warning signs nang, kiko ta 5 kos mi pohasi pa mi mes, kumi mes, pa kind of get out of that negative headspace. Okay, si esay no traha, kiko ta mi next step. 3 lugar nang kubo po bay. Bo bay beach, bo bay kana, bo bay subihoy bar, bo bay gemurato. Si esay no ta ayuda, okay, kenta 3 henda nang kubo sabo po yama pa support. Oh, esay no ta no ayuda. Ora botawak, okay, ki otra instancia ng ting kubo po yudami. Boti yung psikolog, manda ba code red? Hey, code red. Ora nang sa, this is an emergency. Ora nanta purba di giyabo, isi aseno ta ayuda. Then we have to go to the Ersahod.
Ding those questions, kuno sa haya. No sa waktame ko henda ta sinti ko estay nuturora tampoco ta I don't want to say like the most effective, pero porta a response no tur ora ta lo qual mi te kere hena te verwacht op moment assim of porta nanta yama 911 anto a response nota basa lo qual kunanga verwacht mi kerbe sa tur hende ku these can be like very technical conversations in the sense di maneira basta com o sistema de saúde hinca em outro nos responses santa hinca em outro in general anto it's trust me like you know the field talks about it the professionals talk about it everybody wants it to get better and I think they are working in their own respective fields to make it better but until then what is reality until how should people navigate that?
Well, seta hopi difícil anta ora malen se sei mi gewoon kada maneo what un hende a haribo riba telefon e sei pa mita gewoon unheard of
and I have heard it one too many times.
Seriously?
I have to say yes in regards to suicide specifically.
Mi escucha di hopi hende ko abay erste hulpsi e awardo mane bisaya nos no po ayudavo o tin ko bay factim of respaldo of algo dia después, right? So I've heard that pero it's very unfortunate ko aruba no tin un sistema where at least un hotline, un suicide hotline. So mi akyata busca mi mane me siting algo, o sea, nada, mi no por haya nada. Pero at the same time, orong hende react asina, that says a lot about them and not about you. Do not give up ora un hende of dos hende of tres hende para demo caminda. You are a human being, you are worth being on this earth, you are worth being respected, you are worth being loved. Sige ku estap en plane ora, king mi po bay. Ibo talaga e persona sa minota haciendo, minota feeling good right now. I do have a plan. Mi apurba busca ayuda. Mi nota hayando Please you dami.
Yeah.
Seek out someone who bo trust. And ora bota kind of have those connections with your friends or your parents or your siblings. Bosabo ta baiting un upvangnet?
Yeah, vangnet.
Sí. But you need to make sure that you have people that you are constantly talking with who ora en momento llega y bota water rejected by these professionals boting un hende pa ba eskaje después. Ita open. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Mane echt
Paso ku is safety plan yakaba bo apurba hasi tukos bo pora hasi pa ayuda bo mes, right? Bo coping skills nang bo socio-emotional regulation skills, all these different types of things. And if they still didn't help, you have to talk to someone.
Yeah.
A professional.
Ideally, yeah.
Ideally un professional. Ideally si bota mirando hende kaba bo po reach out inanta kind of get back to you. Pero mi da comprende tambe as a professional that gets hard.
Yeah.
Basta, especially if it's like after hours of botading sessions anto bono ke bono por no bono po queda wabo telefon tampoco.
Correcto.
Pero ku sempre ting un plan, un safety plan in place.
Okay. So I hope that information was like
somewhat helpful.
Yeah, somewhat helpful, right? I mean, kung nasa focusing riba kostang ko ta realidad. Pa sobra the internet anto
Sí, imita quiere tambe ku ora bo escucha hopi biamane persona aquí mata ng mes. Atención, ki etata ke atención, kung sa ki enohay atención. Das manera ko hende kawa ta papi di suicide. Please watch your words. Paso bono sa si persona bandi bo ta struggling ko ese. I ora ta pone nang sintoma ne I can't talk about it. Enoto ko mita bisando bo bono po vocifera bo opinión, pero taun tiki bawes ko kiam bo ta papiando idikiko.
Correcto. Y there are campaigns about that y no por nada, right? Y me share some data as well, pero language matters. Antes ita algo ta queda, being durante temporada ng aki y luna di consideração de saúde mental também de outubro nos bawa que aqui mais também ko ora bota papel de bijvoorbeeld topiko ng asina ki e porta un determining factor kung bata refer to un sitwasyon asina si kung hina ta sinti kung ang por open up to you or not.
Exactly.
Basta manibot bisa lahat sila pa atensyong of basta not strong sufficiente pa fight a fight or stuff like that. Porpone ko por causa yes mas guilt than somebody for even thinking those thoughts, right? So indeed, let's be conscious. Pero may karbisa tami turhende ko it takes time and effort. And that's active effort. Pabuta bawas ti bumes, kung bata papya, kung bata komunika ko hende. Das ayun sa sharing tips. Anto may kar pa turhende sa ko. It not a fácil turura ko. It might be hard. Pamani ask open-ended questions anto see if somebody responds. You know, it's a practice. Pero me can encourage si turhende pa try it out. Mane purba have those conversations. Purba da active din
si
language, you know.
Si bono porta verbally there, just physically be there, just basta mi sabo gusta Malta. Atong Malta. It's the little tiny glimmers of hope ko por cambio hena ng desisyon di kyar kita ng vida.
Exactly. And then, you know, if you can't, I know it sounds like redundant, but if you can't say anything nice,
don't say it at all.
Don't say it at all.
100%.
I mean, what is the right thing to say until you think what you're about to say is gonna come off wrong, then maybe don't say it. You know, just
just about suicide, about depression, about anxiety, about OCD, about BPD, wasa all that stuff. Anto un otro cos kumilo. Encourage people to not ting miedo they have these types of conversations with kids. They are smart. They are smarter than us most of the time. Inang ta very bawas about what's going on. So obviously mucho nang baudi siete minolo bisa punta nandi have you ever had suicidal thoughts mane usa miyagi wako of mitawaka wako but very angry or very sad. Is that right? Sinabi sa self now, sige, okay, kika pasa, kika pa pensando, inang po grasp. Isi mucha about this shit bisa, hey, kiko ta suicide, be honest. Don't shy away from the conversation. Right? Mucha nang mas bio, obviously, buporta mas, detailed in the questions. Hey, bo ever pensa di, of ba ever tinga pensamiento, miki bay drumi inolanta mayang? Like those are more under 12. See, okay, kiko pasa dia basta kind of make that a normal conversation in a household. 12 years and above, you can have those conversations about, hey, ba ever tating active suicidal thoughts or passive suicidal thoughts? Ba ever tating un plan? Basta una bloquear kita pa vida. So don't shy away of the topic. Have a conversation. Learn to connect with your kids on a deeper level. I think that's indeed very important. So Promeco, let's go over to like statistics.
Closing remarks. Yes, I'm gonna give some stats because I think it's important.
Of course.
Pakiko, why are we having this conversation? I mean, no gis pa sobra ko fecha akabi pasan stuff, although that's important too. Pero mi karponos para quieto sina e cifra ng di local ko sa región. Cifras ng ta rising anto nos meses para quieto nesse eta ongeveer 79% die ehan ko ta muri by suicide things de nossa região ta hende homber estamos meses para quieto nesse ko it rates ta it disproportionate big
well eta so you know say
I mean, you can, by all means.
Okay, males have a higher rate of completed suicide.
Yes.
No attempts.
No.
Females have a higher rate of suicide attempts, but failed at it. The attempt.
Yes. Anto bibiyahe sa iting tamakan tami ko methods of choice.
Yes.
Entre males and females.
Yes.
E atrove trigger warning, me the just mention, pa suportar nos nota para quieto nessa aqui não, but these are things to keep in mind, especially se bota biba com outro hand. Eta ko basta eta a fifth highest cause de mane early deaths in the Americas. Anto
e pare ano passado tava just 2, right? So it's
imaginava de just 2 para 5. Okay, seta not interesting in the sense de mane malo.
10 during COVID ela bira hobiar.
Sí, correcto. E
Suriname actually também tá dentro
top. Yes. Suriname tá dentro top.
Nessa busca minha research.
Sí, probably. Ma vol hon läser sing over the topic on nang discuss like these things and to kiko ta many contributing factors, stuff like stigma and stuff like that tambe.
Community.
Yes.
Previous suicide attempts.
Yep. Pero também me quer mencionar que porta ora que nós tá pensa de society ainda tá pensa de local que tá you know what people think because of pop culture, maybe the most common signs que tá por exemplo you know through firearms porta suffocation or hanging pero ding nos região poison is pretty big.
Sí.
Basta poisoning ku drugs and alcohol, but also stuff like pesticides and chemicals. It's echt listed as a top methods.
Sí. Me da quiere
keep that in mind.
Sí.
You know.
E cos que me nota que nosso papi about dual diagnosis. Dus gente tem BPD, of bipolar, of depression itself, com esse means to increase a likelihood of suicide. E com tem medications, pensei, ora botum como se toma remédio, botim ko check in ko bahay SARS consistently, a psychiater consistently, but make sure ko not any adverse effects.
Yep.
But statistics nang ta shocking si bawat 10 aya pasa pa awara
ki. Indeed. Después a mí quiero para que un tiquina essay nos noting cifra nandi Aruba specifically essay ta algo así que ideally bloquear o nos papel de responsible reporting around deaths by suicide bloquear pa eta waro reportar de uma maneira que tá safe después a cifra nang pa a community tá boas de que tá passando o nos papel de responsible reporting também basta a importância de pôr ênfase riba se você vai report around a topic, make sure que você list the steps that people can take, make sure que você list resources available. Dus não solamente trace a notícia forward que oftentimes maybe even gory details, but make sure que as you are reporting that, think trigger warnings. Make sure as you are reporting that, think immediately linked resources na jail of information, numero ni telefone, pasasaki porta triggering para gente e não por dona gente ng ideia ng how to do it. Mas importação gente tá tendo face, it's passive e não tá figuring out what would work for them. They might see something like this ante por bira nete trigger kunanta mane assim na ito successful by persona A, then I wanna do that. So let's be conscious of that. Tambe imagery, basta use of imagery, use of words, tambe this I guess tá consciente de como nos tá pone o tópico de suicide out there. E me te quiere no underestimate a power que social media e regular media, não importa radio, TV, e news reporting, por tiene de aspecto de prevention, but also in a negative way. So, check out like international guidelines on reporting. Make sure que bota knowledgeable dinang e que bota sendo mabaspa mani. Follow these. I think that's a very important way for community to aportar de forma positiva. Audrey, anything that you think is like really, really important to maybe keep in mind or you want to leave people with unanswered questions? Although me to see touch base about most of them, but if there's something that we maybe not have thought about or we thought about like passive being passively suicidal. También es importante para recognize that there are people that might be chronically passively suicidal. So, we mentioned that too. Kung por by being, being back no kamasi for by being for like a very long time.
Yes.
Yeah. Atrobe ita hobi ha link na comorbidities di mane mental health conditions.
Vooral borderline bipolar manic episodes. Dus un otro warning sign kunos na papihopita reckless behavior. Das orba kuminsa wa ko hinata usa kore speed of the shopping mucho hopi but awak no, this is manicky of nang notawari mas ko nang bida ki kos ne das isa nanta kos na ko bolowak mas ding hindi hammer ko mo hasi. Yes,
those types
of things. See.
Yes. So hey, si boto ding man yung club, di man yung motorcycles or cars or something, anto porta these conversations ta hard in that setting, but all of a sudden boto porta wa kung body ta behaving in a reckless way, kung no ta mani su regular self of no ta ba in accordance ko porta lokal ko basta stand for, then maybe that's a moment of conversation.
Yes.
For sure.
Sí, yung hene ko nunca sempre corre 40 kilometer per hora wata corre shingi 20 bota mana kilta sando one life tas eu reita meseta sanos gusta bisa seta na roba one life to live
yeah, but hopefully make it a good one anto ko
sí. There's always help available. Eta kuminsa ko finding at least one person una bota comfortable with. And remembering and reminding yourself you're worth being on this planet. Like you still have so many more amazing things to do.
Yep. Audrey, me te quiere pa recap. If somebody knows somebody kuta, struggling with this, of a persona mes, quickly, what are the steps that they should take?
Ku e persona?
Sí, das van bisa batong family member ibuting.
Okay. First of all, bota have that conversation. Bota wak una nanta. See it active, boting ku talk or seek out steps immediately pa kung busque ayudo. So actively, boting ko keda ko nang regardless. Boting ko yama sita ding dia huisarts, psychiater ang call, 911. Sí, 911 te polis na ruba of eerste hulp di EHBO. Nampo yuda giabo pa kompa go through the next steps. Okay? Si nang ting psycholog, reach out na psycholog. Just pa si ting lugar pa un emergency session. Ora eta passive, ora eta active, yakaba eta no, isagi ting go higher. Pero si nanta passive, ori wak si bu psycholog of kind of try to get un appointment kung psycholog what bisa hey this is urgent. Ipa persona just be there emotionally, physically, no provide any advice, no provide any promises, never promise anyone anything paso bono porta siguro di essay. So ito the biggest thing kung may pobisa ilaga hende ko. Never promise everything's gonna be okay. You don't know that. So después abo de persona que lo confia anto abo ganyele. So then the trust is broken there. Pero just be there. Do the little things. Si bono porque emotional side, the baby stuff. Like, kiko ba favorite food? Bambus ka essay. Bang lama. Bang hasi algo. Distraction is always key as well. Tas yuda ng kunang coping skills. Just be there. You don't have to talk if you can't do it or if you're not willing to do it. Just be there physically then. You remind them there is hope. You are loved.
Awesome, Audrey. Thank you so much. Minus at the beginning, I mentioned me awesome sponsors, but we're at the end, so I do want to mention them because they make these conversations possible. So thank you so much to Servi, to Crust, and to Total. I appreciate you so much. Like really, having the space to talk about these things is so important. Tayo may karakara turhende ku. Mang just sabra ta mi birthday and I am gonna be here. Doing big plans, so my team is being and to do a show next week. No, so papia the work place rights. Anto may papia ko un lawyer about this. Pero también this week is gonna be fun stuff, fun giveaways on social media for my birthday. I know it's my birthday. I feel like I should be getting gifts, but I'm gonna share gifts with y'all as well. So get you involved in that celebratory mood. So again, si pa na to follow me ainda on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, sincerely.carolina and Zena Talks. But you'll see me link those. Y nos lo share information di topic ko no sa Papi Awe on Zena Talks as well, like some stats and some in-depth points. Thank you so much for tuning in. Anto, I will see you again next week. I appreciate y'all. Anto, me espero ko this conversation was helpful to you in some way or another. Remember, you can find this episode back on YouTube and Facebook and on your favorite podcast platforms on Tuesday. Thank you so much. I will see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
I'm Carolina, and I am the host of Sincerely Carolina, a series of educational conversations about current social issues with local